Hey crafters, this is Paulette. I am late with June and July's name tags, so I'm going to catch up real quick and get them both out here just really fast, and then we'll be ready for July's tag. Since May's tag was a Mother's Day theme, it only made sense to me that June's tag would be a Father's Day theme. I've cut my watercolor paper to 2.5 by 3.25, which is what fits in my little name badges that I picked up at Walmart. You can get a package of 12 of the clear portion for a couple dollars, and then you can get a package of the clips, 12 for a couple of dollars. So for $4 you can make a cool little treat or something for card class. These originally started as I didn't know everyone's name, and it was a way that I could learn everybody's name. And then it just kind of evolved into the ladies enjoyed getting them every month, and so it was something fun I could do and share on my blog. And so we're going to round the corners on this one, and I'm using the Zutter 1/4 inch. It seemed to cut this watercolor paper beautifully. I bought this to cut laminated things, but it didn't do too well on lamination, but it does very nice on watercolor. So we've got that. I'm going to show you a little trick. I knew I was going to do this golf club, and so I'm going to just poke this right in here. We're using a couple of $1 sets. I've got one here in the center that is the golf club and the golf ball, and then we're going to use this little set here, the number 1 Dad Sentiment. I'm stamping everything in Ranger Archival Jet Black ink. And our golf club is just going to be front and center here. I didn't do a very good job stamping that, so I am going to take my little fine point liner and just beef that bottom line up a little bit. It'll be fine. This is a rustic, it's a rustic, manly type card. And then my golf ball, I'm not going to re-ink. I'm just going to stamp, 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 like the ball's going away. It's getting lighter as it's going away. And then we're going to draw in our hill and stuff before we stamp our sentiment. Now this is a neat little trick that I like to do. If I have invitations or something, I will make a template like this, and probably I need to write on it that it is for June 2014 name tags. And then if I ever need to do this, and I'll put golf club and ball. If I ever need to do this again, I will have this template, and I have an envelope where I store this kind of things. Now this is a circle die cut. It's just a Spellbinders, pretty good size circle. I had actually cut 2, but this bigger one worked better. And this is going to allow me to draw my hill in here and be very universal across all the cards. So I just traced that so I know where to lay this circle. And then I've also got another scratch piece of cardstock, and I did the same thing. I laid it in here and figured out where I want my flagpole, and this is going to help me get the first line of my flagpole. And I thought I was going to, actually stamped these little flags and traced one if I can get a hold of it. Traced it and cut it out, but I just felt like it was too short, too pointy. Actually, it probably would have been okay, but I decided to hand draw the flag, so I'm just going to do that. I wanted a more pointy flag. And then I'm going to turn this upside down, and I've just got another scratch piece of cardstock, and I'm going to lay this in here and get the other side of my flagpole, because I am just not steady enough to really sit down and sketch stuff. And this helped me keep everything very, very universal. And so they all looked the same or very similar. Oh, I also need to draw the little cup in the ground. And I just did that with my pencil as well. And now we can stamp our sentiment in here. Number 1, Dad. And that didn't stamp too hot either. So I'll just take that liner pen again. Clean up some of that. Okay, I've got another card. We're going to paint 2. When I do this, I do it in succession. I just have them lined up, assembly line, and that way you get done really fast. You guys are probably getting tired of watercolor. I promise I'll do something different for July. And then hopefully August too. We're going to start with this dark green. And it is going to be this leading edge of our grass. And then we're going to take this lighter green and just throw in a little bit of brighter green. And let's just go ahead and color some of this in. As long as you dilute it in a few minutes, it's all still going to blend and fade. You can't do it and then get up and go away, go to lunch, and come back in an hour or 2. It will still bleed a little bit, but not as fun and wonderfully as it will if you do it right after you've drawn it on. I love to get new stamps and sit down and just stamp across a whole page of watercolor paper and just sit and color them in. Okay, I've got just actually this is a dry wet wipe, and I've got my water in my aqua painter. And we're just going to start diluting. And I just want this grass just to fade away when it gets down here to the bottom. And I forgot to draw my shadow in. I do want a little shadow underneath this golf club, so I'm going to do that in the darker green. Just give that a little bit more depth. Let that fade out, and if I feel like I've got too much color, I'm going to wipe it on my paper towel. Too much color or too much water, either one. What I love about this is it's so fun and quick, and you don't really have to think about it. Oh, I forgot to stamp the June on this one, didn't I? Just blend and get rid of color if you need to. Let's go ahead and dilute these golf balls. I want the top part to remain white, so if you need to, come back and take out a little bit more color. That one got a little blue. I've also got a very dark, I thought this was black when I started these cards, but it's a very dark blue. I'm just going to fill in that little cup there by the flag. And you can dilute that or not. I have diluted it a little bit, but you don't have to. It really is just fine. It's far away. And let's go ahead and do the handle for our putter here. And the flagpole which is just kind of these intermittent dashes. I just need a little bit of color in there. It will pull down when we add water to it. Here, let's just go ahead and color the putter while we're in here. Doesn't have to be anything special, because we're just going to dilute that in a minute. Just blend it out. Take some away if you want. I like a little bit of highlight up there. Blend this gray in. And I want it to be just a little light in the center. My hand keeps sticking to that paper towel. I've got too much color on that one, so I'm really going to fade it out there. Okay, and then let's do the flagpoles. And my brush is getting pretty frizzy. You can taper it back a little bit, run some more water through it, or just swirl it on your paper towel, and that will bring the bristles back a little bit. When I'm done painting, I will make sure that the bristles come together in the center there, and then it will dry again that way, and then it will be really good for the next time. Next time I'm ready to do some watercolor with it. Alright, let's fade the flag out a little bit. And we're just about done. We're just about ready for our sky. And I was a little sloppy there, so if you've got a clean corner of your paper towel, you can just kind of come in there and wipe that out. Make sure your brush is good and clean. I've got some dirt on there. Alright, let's throw that other June on. And then the light blue for the sky. And I've got something dirty on this tag. I'm just going to take my eraser. There we go. Put some sky in here. I'm going to get that water flowing into my pen here pretty good. And I've got a little much, so I'm just going to swipe some of that off, because I want it just to come down and fade out into the center there. This one was already wet where I had that red on there, so those lines are going to stay in there, but that's okay. That one just has a little bit more personality. Oh, I didn't dilute the number 1 dad, did I? We better do that. Okay. Alright, that's pretty much going to wrap it up there. Don't forget to stamp your work on the back with your name and the date, or write it on there. So pretty cute. I love the way these turned out. If you guys have any questions, be sure and let me know.